Welcome to Lake TV's Community Spotlight show presented by the great folks at COMC, Central Ozarks Medical Center, where your health is their mission. And we've got a couple of really rich people with us here today, right?
No.
Merlin and Dawn Vandervort, they are the owners at Resort Lake of the Ozarks and the Encore Grill and Sky Bar, right? So you actually have a much bigger history here at the lake than just the Encore Grill and Sky Bar and Resort Lake of the Ozarks.
Yes, absolutely.
You guys actually were the genesis of the whole Horny Toad project out there, Camden on the lake. That was these people that put that all together. You grew up here.
I did.
Right? Camden's a Laker.
Yes.
And so
I was giving it like everybody got her as Osage Indians. Go Indians.
Oh yeah, one of their kids went to Osage, right? Yeah.
All of our other
You cover all the bases,
right.
Which helps when you're a business owner. Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I always teased Dawn though, when I die, they'll put on my gravestone, if Merlin would have just lived one more week, we'd have called him a local.
In our defense, we are very proud of that title. So, you know, hey,
all of our kids
we'll
graduated school here. I married a local girl. We've had local businesses down here. But I think when I die, they'll say, Merlin has lived one more week. We'd call him
what makes you a local? It's like, man, we'll decide. Yeah. We'll let you know. We'll let you know when you're a local.
Yeah, there is a slight difference between being a local like you, grew up here and everything, and you basically grew up in Kansas City, and that's pretty local too, but there is a little bit of.
Well, he's been here 26 years. Is the part that you think at some point you'd be considered a local. But again, we'll let you know.
Amazing the changes. So, and your parents got divorced when you were 9 years old. In Kansas City. You spent your summers in Wisconsin. And so you got a little bit of everything. You know, it's like Donnie and Marie. I'm a little bit country, a little bit rock and roll. You got it all.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. You can take the boy out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the boy.
Is that where you got your love for like horses and ranching in Wisconsin?
Absolutely,
Yeah. Is that what your dad did, or?
My dad was a hobby farmer basically. He was a retired Air Force guy, and but he grew up in the country, and all his his brother and his brother-in-law had farms, so we were all baling hay every summer, every day. So yeah.
Good work ethic there. And growing up at the lake, were your folks farmers, or what did
No,
what did
actually,
your folks do?
my dad was in excavating, Paulson's Excavating, and my brother's taken over now. And so they've been doing that since 35, 40 years now.
Well, there's no work in that area, is
right?
there?
Yeah, no, they do a great job. And so we've just always been. Yeah.
Well, and over the years, it's like, for those of us that are fortunate enough to live on the water, some of those lake roads are kind of sketchy sometimes. Somebody had to come in and excavate those things and blow the rock out of there.
Yeah, I was definitely a lake girl growing up. So when my husband decided we needed to move out to a ranch in Brumley, Missouri, it's my story. I might have had a minor meltdown, but after we decided it was the best thing ever. And our youngest son got to grow up out on the ranch. And I don't think there's a kid under the age of 25 that lives anywhere around the lake area that doesn't have a great story about being out. I don't need to know all of them, trust me.
And please, in fact, don't tell me.
Please don't tell me,
That's right.
But best life. Like I said, our older kids grew up more on the lake and that lifestyle, and then he got to do the farm, and nobody's feeling sorry for any of those kids.
No, we're so fortunate to live here where we've got that mix of everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you guys actually, one of those great American family love stories, kind of thing where you met by chance at a gas station one day.
Yeah.
And she was, a bartender or something?
No, she worked for a construction company during the day, and she bartended one night a week.
One night a week, yeah. So you flew out of town, flew back in town, and drove all the way in from Kansas City that day to try to see her that night.
So girls, if you're out there and you're not sure if he likes you or not, trust me, he's just not that into you unless he makes some kind of big gesture. I'm just saying. So that movie, you might go watch it. Yeah.
And he was in love with you at first sight. I mean, to do all that in one day to come back and see her.
Yeah.
Did you? I mean, was a spark?
Well, my
the same
dating
for
history
you?
was not great up until the time I'd met my husband. So I might not have trusted my own spidey senses. But I was definitely. I went back to the office and told the gal that I was working with. I was like, I've had this guy, and I think he might come and ask me out. So I was excited that I might get a date out of the deal. So,
So when I asked her out, she said, okay, except if we go out, she said, do not stand me up. And I looked at her and said, honey, if I'd stand you up, I'm either locked up or dead.
Put that in the bank, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes. Any idea of that, meeting happen chance at how that would change your life into what it's become now?
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea. You know, especially growing up on the lake, and we would drive around and see all these big, beautiful houses, and ooh and ah over it, and I don't even know I ever thought that I would live in any kind of a beautiful, $1 million cove back in the day or whatever, and to meet Merlin and to live this amazing lifestyle. It's I never imagined or dreamed anything like that, and now I just keep my seatbelt on and ready for the ride.
It is, there you go.
Way.
Absolutely. Life is like that. And you guys, being the owners of a place like the Encore and the Sky Bar over there, you do a lot of concerts, a lot of music over there. Do you enjoy doing that? Is that, that's a whole different industry. That's kind of tough.
Yeah, it's great because we started doing concerts, obviously 25 years ago at the Horny Toad, and then we've continued the same thing at the Encore. And it's really cool because I remember growing up, all the great bands that I loved listening to when I was younger. I mean, everybody from, REO Speedwagon, Steve Miller Band, Kansas, CCR, Willie Nelson, the Beach Boys. And to have all those guys come out to my venue and perform, it was just a fantastic. I mean, we had Lainey Wilson there, at the Encore 2 years ago, Elle King.
Yeah.
Just a great.
It's kind of like a dream come true.
It really is. It's really, we've been very fortunate. We've had a very fortunate life and got to meet some really cool, interesting people. And yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk about who their favorite musical artists and stuff are when we come back. It's Merlin and Dawn Vandervort, owners over there at Resort Lake of the Ozarks and the Encore Grill and Sky Bar. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the Community Spotlight Show. At COMC, your health is our mission. Central Ozarks Medical Center offers 3 OBGYNs at the Osage Beach Clinic and 2 pediatricians with same-day appointments available. At COMC, our doors are open to everyone with 5 primary care locations conveniently located across the Ozarks. COMC for the best medical, dental, and behavioral health care. Get more info on how COMC can help you at centralozarks.org. COMC, where your health is our mission. If you love the lake, you gotta love Lake TV. Welcome back to Lake TV's Community Spotlight Show. We're talking with Merlin and Dawn Vandervort, owners over there at Resort Lake of the Ozarks, the Encore Grill and Sky Bar. We were talking before the break about the musical part of what you do. You bring in a lot of music folks, do a lot of concerts. Who are your favorite artists from over the years of all time that you've been able to meet and, kind of cozy up with? Who would some of those? I walk by all those pictures in the hallway at the Encore, and it's you and Willie, and it's you and, everybody. You've pretty much worked with just about everybody.
We worked with a lot of great people, and they're all great. I mean, Randy Travis was a super cool guy. Willie Nelson,
funny, had a great sense of humor. It was.
Willie Nelson was awesome. I mean, he's the best if you ask me. And Charlie Daniels, was awesome to meet. The Beach Boys, they were great. Steve Miller Band was probably one of my favorite artists growing up. I mean, he was right up there with the Eagles, And, so we had him out there. Brett Michaels was super nice. Uncle Cracker. A lot of great entertainers. Kansas.
They all have their own unique stories. So it's been amazing. It really
Styx,
has.
I grew up. Styx was one of my all-time favorite bands. I remember the Grand Illusion album, and to have Styx play for us and us get to meet and talk to the guys. And most of the guys that are really down to earth. Just
Great experience.
good old
Dennis
rockers,
DeYoung, I think, the lead singer
absolutely.
for Styx, right? You ever? And I'm looking at those pictures in your hallway at the Encore, and it's almost like you're going, I can't believe I'm standing next to this guy, right? It's kind of neat.
Oh, it's amazing.
That you get to do that. That's a part of what you get
Tommy
to do.
Shaw.
Tommy Shaw.
Sorry, he's a Stick. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
He
Well,
was-
Dexter Young was in Sticks. Or was in Sticks.
Yeah, but Tommy Shaw was the lead singer of
out
Styx.
So
there,
who's your favorite group or artist of all time?
My favorite group of artists of all time was the Eagles, and we have not had the Eagles. They're about $2 million to get them. But
Goals.
what's that?
Goals.
Yeah, the goals. Yeah, maybe someday. That's right.
I'm right there with you. I mean, as a kid, like the Eagles' Heart, you know, they were so good that I almost didn't think they were people, right? I mean, they were just so good, and kind of hard to find good music like that anymore. So you guys love motorcycles.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
In fact, you found the Encore grill and stuff on a motorcycle. You stopped over there.
That's exactly right.
But a lot of people don't know, and I certainly didn't know, that you guys were kind of part of the powers to be behind Bike Fest.
That's right.
How in the world did that come about?
It was, about 18 years ago, I guess now, and we my goal was to try to build the season down here. So we did also not just the Bike Fest, but the OSS, offshore racing.
Really?
My goal was to build how do you stay in business down here year round when you basically started with a 3-month season. And so I'm like, okay, we need to build the September shoulder season. So we'd been to Sturgis and loved, we've both been, love motorcycle riding. And so I got together with Budweiser, Full Throttle Magazine, Ozark Harley Davidson, and then a couple other restaurant owners. Mark Barrett's a good friend of mine, Gary Pruitt. And I'm like, guys, we need to put this thing together. And so it's a concerted effort on basically those individuals I just named that got together and said, okay, let's put this thing together and make it happen. And we all invested a lot of time, effort, and money, those first several years. And Bike Fest is, I think, by far the biggest event at the lake. It's certainly the biggest week of it's bigger than 4th of July weekend, bigger than Labor Day weekend, bigger than Memorial weekend for us.
Wow. Well, and it is. It has grown. In 18 years, it's grown into one of, if not the biggest event at the lake year-round. Shootout might
Especially
be.
lake-wide.
Lake-wide.
Everybody, it encompasses, bars on the water, off the water, hotels.
But isn't it amazing? It still amazes me that with the start of an idea, just an idea 18 years ago turned into what it is today.
Yep, absolutely.
It's stunning, and that's still the case. I mean, come up with ideas, people. That's how things grow. So we're down to our last couple of minutes, but you're very well known in the community for being very conservative. You like conservative politics. You talk about conservative, and you don't hold back on that, right?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
So do you ever catch any flack for that? Is that ever a problem?
We do.
On social media.
Social
bless their
media,
hearts. If they come into the restaurant and somebody doesn't like a picture or something like that, but
they don't like the American flag on the wall.
Some people don't. They don't like the. We've got a lot of military. Memorabilia and photographs on the wall, and some people.
Merlin usually asks, does that mean you don't like Martin Luther King Jr.?
Yeah, because we got those on the wall too. I mean, we got Frederick Douglass and Harriet Tubman,
it's
Martin
American
Luther
history.
King.
It's all American
Elvis
history.
Presley, Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like it
that's
or
our
not.
decor. It's all American history, and it goes back from the Revolutionary War through the Civil War, to the Civil Rights Movement, to what we are today.
To the Chiefs at the Super Bowl.
To the Chiefs at the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah, how about
Talk about
that?
Chiefs. That's right.
All of it.
It's been a good few years.
Yeah,
for
it's been a
Chiefs
very
fans.
good few years.
Hey, we
for
were
Chiefs.
fans even in the rotten years.
Yes, we
so
were.
we're committed.
Yeah.
So.
And you have written a couple of books. One of them is on the political situation, I think, right?
Yeah, The Lost Decade. It was. It's basically it's a pretty in-depth look at 10 years of kind of basically starting back and mostly through the Obama administration. It's called The Lost Decade, and it's The Lost Decade, Failed Experiment in Progressive Government.
Yeah, no doubt. How can people get that?
They can go out on Amazon. They can go on Amazon and get it. And the book I would probably really recommend is Make It Happen. It's kind of a great motivational, somebody that's thinking about getting into business or anything of that sort. But even your personal life.
boutique at the Encore.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, my wife, she has our
So you can
boutique.
stop in there at the
stop
boutique.
Encore. Yes,
Buy a
stop
swimming
right
suit and a book.
That's
It's
right.
on the
That's
way
exactly
into the
right.
Sky Bar, or the Encore Grill.
That's
yeah.
exactly right. Absolutely.
Okay, cool. Are you his editor?
No, I read it. I do, but I don't know about
She
editing.
gives a
but-
couple reads before. Yeah. we
Yes,
publish
I
it,
do.
so,
I read it, and sometimes tell me he needs to tone it down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now anymore, I don't. Anymore, I used to. Anymore, I'm like, oh no, going hard.
Yeah, you're good. All right, so there they are. It's Merlin and Dawn Vandervort. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and thank you for joining us for Lake TV's Community Spotlight Show.